This is a PSA to all the girls who want to shave their head. Do it, do it, do it, do it now.
Oh my God, it feels amazing. No, like, I just want to headbang all day.
A shaved head as a woman still retains shock factor. There's not really much in hair and beauty, I would say, that still has the real power to shock. For much of early history, people shaved their heads, male and female, purely because there was a more hygienic option. So in the days before we had kind of proper plumbing and we had like widespread hygiene products, shaving your head just made life easier. We talk about, I don't know, ancient Egypt and Greece and Rome. You know, most people really would be shaving their heads. They would then probably wear a wig, but not necessarily. When we talk about women having shaved heads, it's important to kind of differentiate, I suppose, between Western society and elsewhere in the world. After the French Revolution in France, some women cut their hair really short in tribute to their friends and colleagues and people they knew who had lost their lives at the guillotine. And so we have this short-lived trend called hair worn à la victime. So inspired by like the victim. Basically, when you were going to the guillotine, you would have your hair cut off, so it made it easier for the blade to pass down. So it's kind of a gruesome trend that was done to signify solidarity with those who'd lost their lives on the guillotine. But that is pretty much the only time we see really, really short hair on women prior to the 20th century. And even then, that was a very small trend. Outside of Western culture, women shaving their heads, particularly in Africa, it just tend to just be, it is a style choice. It's not considered such a shocking thing as we consider it in the West. Also in India, women may be expected to shave their heads, when they're in mourning or once they're married. Kind of an act of subordination, of humiliation. Hair is so closely linked with ideas of femininity that shaving it off isn't just shedding someone of like their personality and their sense of self, but it's also humiliating. It removes any sense of individuality, which is why I guess we also see shaved heads in things like the armies or in prison. At the start of the 90s, we start seeing more women shaving their heads. You see more kind of, I guess, like indie singers or women in rock doing it, which is when it sort of starts to kind of seep through a little bit more into popular culture. G.I. Jane, the Demi Moore film, is always kind of touted as a great example of a woman shaving her head, although obviously that was in relation to a role in the military.
They wanted me to grow my hair really long and wear mini skirts and all that kind of stuff because they reckoned I'd look much prettier and all this stuff. So I went straight round to the barber and shaved the rest of my hair off.
It actually tells me she's spun completely out of control. She's mutilating her whole image.
I think that was such an iconic moment for people of my generation. And I mean, now in light of everything that's come to pass and everything that we know about what's happening, you kind of view it a bit differently. But ultimately, it's taking the power back and taking control of your own identity and saying, I don't want to be seen as this pop icon. I don't want to be seen as this like very stereotypical idea of a girl, a sexy girl. I want to do something for myself.
Britney, if you see this, I love you, I support you, and you're amazing. You're an angel on earth. people make a big deal out of it. They say like, oh, you know, she was crazy, that's why. But during that time, she was postpartum after having 2 babies back to back. She had been hounded by the paparazzi, and women can do whatever they want to do with their bodies. They can shave their head. It's not a big deal.
I think pandemic and any period of stress and anxiety and difficultness always leads to really interesting looks going on in fashion and beauty. We get a lot of exciting, weird, DIY, fun things happening because people want to reclaim a sense of self. They want to do something creative. They want to feel like they're contributing something exciting to the world and being a bit different. And like shaving your head is totally that. It's also why we saw so many like mullets and like crazy colour happening during lockdown. The shaved head, particularly on a woman, does still have so much social attachment to it. That's really taking ownership of yourself, and it's also just like this literal shedding of a weight almost. It's saying, you know, I want to remove this thing and I want to just start afresh.